Hello there, and welcome to the show. Today I'm going to be talking about Moana 2. Moana 2 is the sequel to 2016's Moana, which came out 8 years ago. I remember watching that film when it came out in cinemas and absolutely loving it. It was a great film and a really fun movie. This sequel felt kind of unnecessary, especially coming out 8 years after the original. So I was a little uncertain about this film. Would it be another sequel that exists for the sake of having a sequel and making as much money as possible off of the IP, or is there an actual story that they want to tell? Let's talk about it. Moana 2 is set 3 years after the events of the first Moana. Moana is now a wayfinder and is exploring the other islands in the world and attempting to find other people, and she receives a vision from one of her ancestors informing her that she needs to go to this island, and that is the basic premise of this movie. It is essentially a journey from the home island to this one island, trying to find other people that may exist in this world. And on paper, it's a very basic premise, very easy to follow. Starting off with what I thought was the best part about this film, the animation. The animation in this film is beautiful. The water effects are excellent. Also, the color saturation is very vibrant and colorful. The animation in this film is beautiful and the best part of this film in my opinion. While not as good as the original, there are a couple of decent songs in this film. Moana and Maui have the same chemistry they had in the first film, and that dynamic played out well in this film as it did in the first film. However, it was better in the first film. The voice cast does an incredible job. Everyone plays their parts very well. There were a couple of funny moments. This film does have a couple of decent laughs. However, what I mentioned at the start of this review, does this film have a substantial story to tell, or is it just a sequel for the sake of making money? After watching this film, I am very much leaning towards the latter. The story of this film is paper thin. There's not a lot of substance to this movie. This film doesn't have a substantial story to tell. This film, to me, as it was going along, this film came across as more of a made-for-TV film or a straight-to-Disney Plus film, rather than a film that was meant to be released and watched in cinemas. And after doing some research, I found out that this was supposed to be a television show on Disney Plus, and it got changed to a feature film. Moana gathers a group to go on this journey with her, and it's these three side friend characters, and they could have been completely cut from this movie and nothing would have been lost. Their attempts at comedy came across as more cringe than funny. There were a few decent laughs, but for the most part it came across as cringe and kind of forced. There is no real antagonist or anything like that. The final battle of this movie is the group fighting against a storm. That just isn't very interesting to me. The way this movie ends, when the first Moana ended, I walked out of the theater and I was thinking that this was a great film and I had a great time. Walking out of Moana 2, only thing that was on my mind was, alright, that was 90 minutes of my life. Where am I gonna go for dinner? There is a post-credit scene in this movie, and that post-credit scene is the personification of the term sequel bait. This film was okay, it's not bad, I can definitely see kids enjoying it. However, to me, this was not a very good film. This was average to fine at best. This isn't something that I'm gonna remember for years to come. This isn't a film I would say is good by any stretch of the imagination. This film just exists. It's fine to occupy 90 minutes of your time, but aside from that, nothing overly substantial to Moana 2. That is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. You can follow me on Instagram at Saeed_2000. And I will see you on the next video. Till then, take care.